Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson. Welcome to Tea Time. This is unedited and unscripted. We just talk the real here about personal growth and trans topics. So if you're into that, please like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I've heard a lot about from other people, which is, am I really trans? What if I make the wrong decision? Sometimes I feel like I'm fake trans. Maybe I'm not trans enough. Have you asked yourself any of those questions? This video is for you. Oh, and by the way, check out my sweatshirt. It's pink. I have been starting to get more into pink lately, which is really strange because I used to just be all black. But I don't know, just the pink feels like it reminds me of my own femininity that I need to have. You know those moments where you forget sometimes that you want to have that gender validation and there's no one around to validate you. So wearing something that feels validating can help you feel validated. That's this pink for me. It's laundry day too, so that kind of explains the back. But anyways, without further ado, I'd like to answer this question because I feel like a lot of you ask me this. I hear this from the people that I coach as well as you guys that write questions in the comments. By the way, if you want to suggest a topic, feel free to write it down below. So let's get in, shall we? So this sense of like, am I trans enough or am I really trans? This is a really tough question to deal with because it's sort of like the only person that can answer it is you, and the only person that really seems to be asking it is also you. So how do you convince you to stop asking this question? Well, the best approach is to really find that knowing within you that really just knows without a doubt and just says, this is it. This is all it's got to be. Now, when I first started transitioning, that knowing was there, but you forget about that knowing. And sometimes you forget about like what you think is being a woman or what you have felt was being a woman. And then you just feel plain, or you feel like more of a man, perhaps, or a woman, whichever way you're going. And so when you're transitioning, it's this process where you're kind of hashing through your old persona and your new persona. And this is the in-between space that's uncomfortable. Do you know like how when you start adapting to a new situation, like going to a new school or going to a new job or moving to a new city or country, there's this in-between transitionary state where you don't feel at home, you don't feel exactly right, you don't feel like this is settled, but you also don't feel like you don't belong there completely or that you shouldn't be there. It's sort of like this in-between thing of, I'm here, but I don't really know how I fit in yet, and I'm still trying to figure that out. That's sort of like the process with transitioning. And so this question of, are you trans enough, or do you think you're actually trans? These kinds of questions, I would say, are actually, the answer is yes, you probably are if you're moving through this process and exploring. But these kinds of questions will naturally come up because your state is in a flux. Your state is kind of moving left and right and shifting around. So what I would suggest is to give yourself time and space to really experiment and go with the flow and see what really pulls you and gets you to feel like, yeah, this is definitely something. What I hear from a lot of trans women is there's a moment where they realize this and then they're like, I have to change everything. But that's not going to stop you even after that moment of you working through this imposter syndrome, this sense of, well, am I actually trans? And I feel like this question can also hold a lot of people on the fence. They may feel like it's such a big commitment. It's something that I need to stay away from until I have a concrete answer. And I would say, stop wasting time. Don't wait for a concrete answer. You're not going to get it. It's going to take you a very long time. The concrete answer is to just try things and move through this. And it's sort of like a soft concrete answer. It's like you get little hints of, yeah, this is right, this is right, this is right. You take little steps and you kind of move down the path. And as you move down your path, things call out to you and you kind of settle in and move into these things. So like I always say this, do what feels right for you and follow that. Excuse me, that's embarrassing. I have a little stuff coming out of my nose. This is unedited, unscripted, and it's freezing cold. So sorry, my nose is a little runny today. But yeah, like, don't be afraid of just trying and stepping forward into experimenting and saying, yeah, you know what, maybe I do want to transition, or I am going to transition, or I'm transitioning. Taking hormones is not like a death sentence. It's not a commitment that's going to be something you sign a contract on and have to do forever. I know there's this feeling like it's this big leap that you have to have a lot of clarity, especially when you want to come out to your friends and family and you want to have a lot of clarity there. It's probably not going to happen if you wait for it. Waiting for that perfect time is delaying so much more of the process that you need to go through. It's this iterative, take one step, take the next step thing. So that's my advice to you if you're feeling like, how do I work through this dysphoric thoughts of maybe I'm an imposter. Another thing, take time and know that this process is going to be a process. If you have these thoughts of maybe I'm not trans, or is this actually right, as you're going through your transition, that's actually not an indicator that you're not trans. That's just an indicator that you're a healthy human being that is skeptical of things and that you need to want to check things. But you'll see with whatever calls to you, whatever you feel in your heart, whatever feels like right to what you know, you'll see as you go down this path what is going to take you to where you need to go. And trust this as a process. It really is a process, and it takes years. I still ask myself sometimes, like, am I a woman? I don't feel like a woman today. Have you ever kind of woke up and asked yourself this kind of a question? Maybe, I don't know. It's a weird question to ask. And in isolation, you don't have a lot of gender validation, so it feels even more strange to be any gender. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you in terms of what you think, how this sits with you, and if you've worked through this yourself, and what advice you have for others, because others will be reading the comments down below. So yeah, we'll wrap that for tea time, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. As they say in Berlin, tschüss.